Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We got a special guest on the line.
Yes, indeed.
First time he's been on the Breakfast Club, which is crazy. Busta Rhymes.
Oh, man. Thank y'all. Good morning. And rise and grind. And you know, it's a super honor and a pleasure to finally be on the Breakfast Club in the morning, man.
Yeah, we tried to do this in person, but...
we saw you in the club or the album release party. I was like, nah, Busta been around too many people. You know, Extinction Level Event 2, that's the project that's out right now, 11 years in the making. This album seems more like a reminder to who and what black people are. Why do you feel like this was the divine moment to release that?
Actually, Charlamagne, I ain't gonna lie, bro. I wanted to release the album way before now. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think anybody, especially as an artist with the passion that I have, I don't think what we love to do. I just didn't have, circumstantially, a lot of things was playing out in a way that just wasn't aligned. The stars just wasn't aligning for me to put it out. Mm-hmm. With what I felt the album deserved and what I felt how the album should be treated. Like, this is probably the first time that I ever literally put all of myself, mind, body, and spirit, money, time, patience, every dream, every thought, every emotion, every idea, the years of trying to find the comfort to actually share vulnerability for the first time in a way that I never have. And I just felt like, you know, I was exploring options with these record companies that wasn't showing me that they really deserved to have this body of work. Mm-hmm. Just showing me the enthusiasm and the excitement and just the willingness to support this in the way that you're seeing happening now with the phenomenal rollout and the campaigning and, you know, just all of the presence that the record is having offline and online in this way. Nobody showed me that until I got into business with Empire. And that took time. I ain't gonna front.
A long time.
A long time, bro. Mm-hmm. And you know something? In the process, man, I learned a lot because patience ended up becoming one of my greatest weapons. You know what I'm saying? I learned how to be patient in a lot of situations while being forced to be patient in this situation, all the way down to how I dealt with my kids, you know what I'm saying? So it was good for me. It was good for me personally, and it was good for me creatively, and it was good for me professionally. And it ended up working out in a way that superseded my every level of expectation for me personally. Like when the Queen Angela Yee said, "How you doing?" And I said, "I'm feeling like I'm literally floating on a whole nother plane of energy." I mean that literally to the last syllable of the saying, because it's been a lot of hard work, but damn, I ain't never really felt the album from Busta Rhymes. I've had a bunch of classic moments and milestone moments throughout my tremendously blessed career, but I've never had an album receive this kind of overwhelming love and support from everybody, from the fans, the extended family, my peers, you know, other artists and athletes, and just even all of y'all. Like, you know how y'all let me take the whole station over for the weekend? Like, mm-hmm. Yeah, like, it's just been beautiful, man. And I'm a real happy and proud of this moment, dude, in an indescribable way. But again, from a divine perspective, it do feel divine, mm-hmm. Charlamagne. It feels divine in the sense of it's so on time, even though it took so long to get to this point and it wasn't planned to take this long. It feels so perfect timing-wise, feeling-wise, the energy, obviously the content and the perfect balance of science and heat. You know, we come from the era of the gods, mm-hmm. Charlamagne. You know mm-hmm. what I'm saying? You too, Envy, you know about that. When mm-hmm. gods had a significant presence. You know, we was raised in that time where knowledge itself was important. Being smart was cool. You know, the Zulu nation was running around. So I'm from that era. I always feel a duty and an obligation to to give people a good balance and a good, a good balance of science and heat.
I thought it was with you, and you get that a lot with especially OG rappers, especially New York rappers, where it's never good enough. Like you record songs, 2-3 songs a night, so you must have a file of about 50 to 70,000 songs, and I'm like, I'm hearing the music, and I'm like, he just doesn't want to put them out. It's almost feeling like you doubted yourself. It's like, it's not good enough yet. It's not good enough yet. So where was the point where it was finally good enough for Busta to release it?
Actually, I would say around 2014.
6 years ago?
Yeah, 2014, 2015. I started to find myself sitting on pieces of records in some of those moments on this project. The first beat on the album, right? After, if you listen to the whole album, after the End of the World intro.
The Purge?
The
Purge?
No, not The Purge. The joint with me, Rakim, and Pete Rock.
Oh, the intro.
Yeah, the intro.
Okay, yep.
The first beat that I'll actually rhyme on before it switches into The World Is Yours music from Nas's Illmatic album and Rakim start rhyming, that first beat is 22 years old.
Wow.
That beat is from the first Extinction Level Event album, and it was a joint that I never got a chance to get to. Now, the reason why I used that beat was because I always loved it, first and foremost. But secondly, I wanted, if people listened to the first Extinction Level Event, The Final World Front, and then you ended up going straight into listening to Extinction Level Event 2, The Wrath of God, I wanted it to sonically sound and sonically feel like we literally picked up exactly where we left off from this album. And the producer, Knots, he was using an ASR 10 keyboard to make his beats 22 years ago.
Right.
He's not using that machine no more. So he ain't even able to recreate that sound or that feeling.
Wow.
But, I wanted to capture that again in this moment in time. And, again, that's the level of timeless greatness that I was able to include in this album that makes it feel fresh with some of the now components, but you still getting a new Cascade dishwashing liquid sparkle on the nostalgic feeling part of the album. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of thought went into that, and micromanaging went into that. And again, around 2014, 2015, MV, I definitely felt like from 2009 to that point, I was starting to have these incredible gifts fall into my lap that I just knew it didn't matter when these pieces came out. I could walk in anybody's studio and I know they don't have these moments on their shit. You know what I'm saying?
Got you.
So that's how that came together.
The record Master Fard Muhammad, right? Powerful record. I'm sure mad people Googling Master Fard Muhammad now because of that record. But why Ross? Why Ross for that?
The reason why I picked Ross for that is because Ross and a lot of us have been directly influenced by Master Fard, whether we realize it or not. You know what I'm saying? Master Fard was a man that he came here from the Middle East, and he came to Detroit a little bit before the 1930s, and he gave the knowledge of self to Elijah Muhammad. And in the process, what makes him incredible in the sense of why we named the song Master Fard Muhammad, we all obviously like to dress up. You know what I'm saying? We all like to look good, even when we dressing down. Like to look good, right? That great pride and that great part of excellence in Black people in wanting to present ourselves a certain way. But from the Black excellence perspective, that whole mentality, Master Fard had a significant role in instilling that in Black man at the time when it was important. So he was going door to door, giving knowledge of self to common man, Black people, But in the process, the way he gave that knowledge of self, he was selling silks to attract the attention of the common man in order to give them the science and give them the information, right?
Yeah, dope.
So in the process of dealing with them with the silks, you know, you going through looking at the silk materials and the different colors, and you know, he giving you all of these options to keep your time occupied while he's giving you jewels. Also, while he's helping you realize the significance of how you present yourself as a civilized person. So now he transformed these people into people with knowledge of self in the Nation of Islam. And that's why you see, you know, the Nation of Islam dress code is with the bow ties and the suits and looking great. So, you know, that influence spread to our culture without us realizing, you know, we like to dress up. So that's why Ross say, Master Muhammad sold silks going door to door, giving knowledge to the brothers that have wanted more. We a nation of brothers, such a wonderful force. Go straight to the Quran if you wanted the source. So it's like Ross, a perspective and information like that coming from Ross, who's actually not 5% and he's not Muslim, is important to me, because now it's coming from somebody who is not a man of Islam, but it's also a black man who bear witness to the truth, and his reach and his ability to also show black man that ain't necessarily 5% on Nation of Islam. It's okay to research this information and be proud of it, even if you're not a member of the Nation of the Gods and Earths or the Nation of Islam. So that's why it was strategically done in that way. And I just know Ross is capable of delivering on that type of music with grace and sound powerful and sound like black excellence that he's supposed to. Because some of the songs that Ross made that inspired this vibe to me was like Tears of Joy. You know, when you listen to Tears of Joy and you hear how Ross and CeeLo gelled on that, it just, I ain't gonna lie, that record was an influence to how I wanted to approach this record when I got the beat from Terrace Martin and High Tech. Saying so, you know, it just felt like
it was a feeling, it was a vibe.
Sonically.
And what happened to the Drake record? The You and Drake record?
Let me explain.
That was a hard record.
Let me explain that.
I started playing that record. I couldn't understand why DJs wouldn't play that record. That record was a tough record. And you
Thank
go off
you,
on it.
Envy. Thank you. I'm gonna be honest with you though. The record was never made with the intention of it being a Busta Rhymes song. What ended up happening when Diddy, what originally happened, Diddy was working on the Dirty Money album, right? The girls from Danity Kane, I forget the queen's names.
Dawn. I forgot the other sister name. No, Dawn and another sister.
Right. So those two queens, they was working with Diddy on that album, and that album at the time, Diddy was looking for verses and songs for that album. So I was in a session at and I forget what Diddy was recording it, but I played him a few beats from Jay Dilla because I got this unbelievable batch of Jay Dilla beats that he left me with before he passed and went back to the Essence. But in any event, I'm real selective with who I give it to. I think the only person that I've given any of my Dilla beats to was Raekwon the Chef for Only Built for Cuban Links Part 2.
Wow.
And he blessed me with the opportunity to executive produce that project. And Dilla been gone since like 03, I believe. So I haven't really spread out his music because I want to make sure I'm putting his music in hands of worthy candidates that's gonna rep his music right, keep his legacy alive. Diddy was in a dope space creatively that was different from any of like the super mainstream records that Diddy is known for making and the club records. So he was in another space creatively. The Dilla joints fit what he was trying to do sonically. So I gave him these about 3-4 beats. He ended up giving Drake, he took 2 of the Dilla beats and turned them into one song, right? Could you hear how it starts with one beat and then when it's time to rhyme, when Drake comes in, it goes into another beat. Those were 2 different Dilla beats and Diddy put them together for one song. Diddy gave it to Drake for Drake to write verses for the song. The song didn't get finished. Diddy played it for me, and I told him to give it to me. Let me finish it for you, so that he could use this song and I could be a part of this project. And that's how we've been vibing over the years. It's like I pop up on Diddy, he play me some shit. If they feel like he got something where I could get in where I fit in, I'm gonna jump in the double Dutch roll. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. This was one of those moments to me. Flavor in Your Ear was another one of those moments to me. There's Victory, like I'll come to the studio and there'll be a blank that needs filling. And I'll be like, I got something for that, and it'll happen. So
that's insane, because it feels like those two records were tailor-made for you.
Yeah, Victory.
Yeah, Victory and Flavor in Your Ear.
Remix, like, Flavor in Your Ear remix. Both of those.
Yeah, I wasn't like I think I got the call for Victory. Diddy needed the hook for Victory. I heard about Flavor in Your Ear happening, and when I called Diddy to get on it, he was like, "Of course," but then I was like, at the time I was trying to break Rampage, so I was like, "Yo, I got Rampage, my new artist," and he was like, "All right, if I put him on, what I was gonna pay you, you got to renege on that fee." Man could get on. You know Diddy with his hustling ass.
Absolutely.
Happy birthday to Diddy anyway. With ass. But Diddy did me like that, and I made the sacrifice for Rampage to get the look. Obviously, you know, it was the one of the most incredible opportunities at the time for Rampage to be in such good company as a new artist, and it was worth it. You know what I'm saying? But that's just sacrifice I'm willing to make to get my brothers in position to secure wins for them. And those blessings come back 10 times fold. And it did. You know, Rampage was able to get a career launch out of that. And, you know, the hits came after that. Wild for the Night and all of the bangers from Rampage. So he got a nice alley-oop to run with, and he ran with it. But again, back to the Drake joint with Diddy, you know, when I got the record, I put a verse on it and was trying to get it to Diddy. And then they ended up not doing nothing with the song. This is all the way back when he was working on that Dirty Money album. You see how many years ago that was.
A long time ago.
So this song is just sitting in the hard drive doing nothing, and then it leaked somehow. Like I really didn't even remember the song was sitting in the hard drive. I'm super overprotective of my records, so I don't usually have leak issues. You know what I'm saying? I record on my own hard drives. I leave with my studio with my hard drives. I come to the studio with my hard drives. I'm not saving nothing or backing up nothing on no studio's hard drive. Envy know me well enough to know that's how I'm super overprotected with my work. And especially if you're using other people's beats, you ain't paid them for their beats yet. Mm-hmm. Like, I have no problem with nobody. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I'll try to wait until the business is handled. I also try to wait until we know that when we ready to come with the joint, the record gonna get supported properly, all of the ducks is lined up. But overall, that's what happened. So when the record leaked, even though you played it Envy, you see there wasn't no support behind the record. It was just floating around, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, it would have been dope if it would have been something that we actually did together. But for me, I also want to make records. If I make a record with somebody, I don't want it to be some piece together, unofficial. We ain't even have a conversation about doing a record, because me and Drake didn't actually have a conversation about doing a record.
The story was Drake didn't clear it. That was the story that Drake didn't want to clear. He didn't want it out. That was the story that was heard.
Yeah, but that's because, you know, at the time when Swiss was getting into that on his live, he misinterpreted why the song wasn't coming out. And I was trying to straighten that out while we was in the middle of that. You know what I'm saying? With giving him the clarity, you know, but the narrative that he put out there at the time, you know, misled, you know, what the actual situation was. But, you know, fortunately, even that got resolved respectfully, and you know, the energy is in a better place with that too. But
good.
You know, I just we was raised with a certain code of ethics. I want to respect everybody when it comes to this music thing. If we actually didn't have a conversation about collabing, I'm not trying to put together no concoction that everybody ain't endorsing or co-signing. And that's the way we was raised. We ain't gonna be out here using nobody brand to get no buzz. And I wouldn't want that done to me. So I respected it. And until the moment presents itself, you know, we'll see how long it's going to take for a collab like that to happen, if it does.
So with that said, how'd you go about with how'd you handle getting the ODB feature?
The ODB feature was a different thing. ODB is my friend. That's my brother. That's the God, one of the most swiftest gods when it comes to knowledge of self. And he was always a high scientist. You know that saying, a wise man could act and play the role of
a fool, but a fool can't play the role of a wise man.
There you go. That was A-Son unique. As much as he was acting crazy out there, he's one of the most swift. He was almost he was like the gods that was on a PhD level with the science. I used to watch A-Son control these building sessions with the gods that was so out of control that it actually used to make gods afraid to want to partake in these building sessions. And, you know, that was the older way of doing things. You know, that's not the real correct way to handle your air-likes, because then you run gods from the nation when you make them afraid to want to be amongst you. But that's how powerful Old Dirty was. And, you know, that resonated with me from back in Leaders of the New School days. He was very powerful and swift with the science back in the 90s, early 90s, 91 we talking about. This is when RZA was Prince Rakeem and Jizza genius. You know what I'm saying? So just having such a long brotherhood and respect with them gods, it just led into us doing things together in the studio. We ended up both being on a lecture together. He released Return to 36 Chambers before I put out The Coming. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, we used to go to like BRE convention in New Orleans together. Y'all remember all of that? You know what I'm saying? So we was doing all of that together, doing electric showcases at these conventions together. So we just had opportunity to go in the studio and do things. I called RZA one day, and I pulled up on RZA at his house in LA, and I asked him for the original session because I had an acapella of Brooklyn Zoo, and I had got it from Rick Posada, who was our A&R at the time at Elektra. And big up to Rick Posada. I had the acapella, so I was able to hear these outtakes from the God that nobody ever heard. So, and in Brooklyn Zoo, I think we can all agree that was one of the most incredible, unconventional hip-hop records.
Absolutely.
Because the God ain't have no hook on there until the end. You know, he just blacked out for a whole verse and just put a hook at the end of the song. And this was his first single. That was my
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We all trying to worry about hook, verse, hook, doing song structures for radio. He go in the studio, he pop shit at the top like he about to beat somebody's ass. He black out for a whole verse, put the hook at the end of the song. Song done. I said, this got to be this is some courageous shit, number one. And number two, it was inspiring. Loved the song so much. I asked Rick Posada to give me the acapella because we was recording at the studio together in Long Island called the Music Palace. And Old Dirty was out there as the only other artist from the city, Brooklyn in particularly, that knew about the Music Palace. I didn't think anybody knew about the Music Palace. It's one of the last dope analog studios with the 2-inch tape reel machines and all of that in the studio to this day. So back at that time, they used to have Old Dirty record out there to keep him away from the mobs of homies you used to have coming in the studio to distract the process. So Rick Posada used to bring him all the way out there to get the work done, to minimize the confusion and the distraction. And I used to record this, so I used to see and hear things that he was doing in the studio that the world never heard. So I asked Rick Posada, bless me with the acapella. Acapella just had music bleeding in on the track because his headphones was too loud, so I didn't want to use that. I called RZA, went to the house in LA. He gave me the original session to Brooklyn Zoo. So when you hear him sing at the top of the song, yes, you won't, and I love you. And then he goes, no, man, I want to do my new rhymes and shit, man. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know them shits. You know, this is yo, this is just the God in the studio bugging out to himself before the beat come on that the world never heard. And I just was like, damn, you know, we not only do I miss him, it just felt good to hear him in his free spirit space, not giving a fuck about shit. He just vibing to himself. And I know a lot of hip hop fans and Old Dirty Bastard supporters miss him. And I just feel like, you know, we always hear about Big and Pac and Pun when we celebrating the anniversaries of their passing or their birthday. But we don't really acknowledge a son enough. And I just felt like this was my way of reminding people that he was one of our greats and, you know, we need to salute him. And it just would feel good to hear him one more time on some hard shit. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? This was my way of creating that moment for the God.
Did you help him with his album on Electra also?
No, I didn't help him at all.
Because I remember they asked you to. At that
they asked me to come in and just try to find a moment that I could share with him because our energy was so similar that, you know, Rick Posada was looking for a moment for us to be able to have a monster collab with the combustion of energy that we both got individually, but how crazy and explosive it would be with us together. But we didn't get to create that moment for his project, but we did get to create that moment for the Woo-Ha remix.
Woo-Ha remix, yeah.
Yeah. And it's incredible because you know, he's passed, but the director who shot Woo-Ha remix, his name was Mike Lucero. He actually gave birth to like the directors like Christopher Robinson and all of them. You know, shot Cavassier for me and the me and Rick James collab in the Ghetto from the Big Bang album, and he shot the me and Mariah collab. Mike Lucero kind of gave birth to like the Chris Robinsons. He passed away too, but he passed away right after we shot the Woo-Ha remix video. So I don't even think he lived long enough to see it on TV. That's how quickly he passed away after the video shoot. But it you know, me and A-Son got to have our moment that goes down forever in history as a groundbreaking moment. And, you know, I love the God and I miss the God. And I'm gonna always try to keep his legacy alive.
Now, Bust, this is why we changed the interview so many times, because we can't just have a 30-minute Busta Rhymes interview.
It's disrespectful. I don't even like doing this over Zoom. It's disrespectful. I'm be honest with you.
We don't never want to be disrespectful, but when they say a time limit or Bust got something to do, we always are like, we can't just have Busta for 30 minutes. He's not your regular artist. He's never been here. Like, there's so much we have to dive into it. And now, I know we got to rap, but I hate it. That's why we were like,
it's got to be like a special. It's got to be like the Busta Rhymes Breakfast Club special.
When can Bust come in studio? That's what when can he come in the studio?
I'm going to be honest with you, bro. I'm so in campaign mode that if y'all said we wanted to do this tomorrow, I could come to the studio tomorrow.
We gotta
do it next week for real.
Yeah, we gotta figure something out for next week where we could really do. Because the last thing I want to just talk about the Verzuz. Nobody wants to fuck with you in Verzuz, huh? You can't find no contender. I heard at first I heard a rumor that it was gonna be you and Missy and y'all were gonna do records and videos. So I was excited. And then
I was excited for that too. I'm not even gonna front. I was excited for that because Missy is really like one of my best friends in the music game. I love her.
Right.
I love her a lot. She's inspired me. I've inspired her. We're like twins, brother and sister twins. And everything from the music to the videos to the crazy ass outfits. We was gonna bring all of that shit out.
That would have been crazy.
It didn't get to happen. I want all the smoke. I gracefully sit in the smoking section. I smoke bud. I'm with all the smoke. I'm looking forward to anybody wanting to get in the ring with me anytime, anywhere, anyhow, any place, for whatever reason. Let's do it. Let's give it to the people. Let's show them better than we can tell them how we can celebrate each other and respectfully compete and have fun. You know what I mean? That's the cloth we cut from. We have earned our right to passage by being dope and battling dudes in the street for real, because wasn't no social media for you to get no buzz from. We had to earn it for real. And again, we all come from that era. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it's about. That's what the cloth we cut from. They don't manufacture that cloth no more. You know, dudes want the easy way out. And that's fine too. You know, the way the game evolves, everybody didn't have the same experience, and that's okay. But yo, if we could do this next week, let me tell you something.
We have to, man. I got too many questions, and I got questions like one of my favorite hip hop records of all time is "Why We Die." So I just want you. I want to know why that was never a single. I want to know about that whole collaboration. But
he's got a live hit right now, so we gotta let him handle
let's
his
set
business.
this up for next week if we can. I'll get on with Dan and Shadow, and we'll go from there. But Big Boy from Outkast versus Busta Rhymes. I think that. You don't think so? Outkast versus Busta?
No.
Why not?
No.
Why not?
Big Boy?
Guys, he's got to go.
Big Boy, but come on. No,
behind his
man.
back.
Come on, man. No.
I can't think of nobody else.
Much love to you always.
I think Busta Rhymes versus Red and Meth.
That'd be good.
I like that.
That'd be good.
That's what I think.
Yo, you know what? I love that.
That'd be good.
I think that's the one.
God, now you talking my type of talk, Almighty.
There we go.
That'd be good.
Now you talking my type of talk, and they're my brothers.
That's the one.
Everybody's animated. Everybody fuck with each other. Everybody got hits. I like that. Well, Bus, I know you got to go, Bus.
Yo, listen.
Next week.
Always a pleasure. Charlamagne, peace God. NB, peace God. Angela Yee, peace Queen. Love y'all and thank y'all for the great energy this morning.
Peace, Lord.
Abba.
Hey, Extinction Level Event 2, The Wrath of God, available and streaming everywhere. Also, Extinction Level Event 2, The Wrath of God Reloaded with 4 new bangers on there is also available and streaming everywhere. Y'all please enjoy the experience. Thank y'all so much for the love.
Love.